If you're just joining us this morning, major political developments overnight. Former Pennsylvania Senator Rick Santorum swept Missouri, Minnesota, and Colorado's primaries.
There's probably another person who maybe is listening to your cheers here tonight also. And that might be at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. You better start listening to the voice of the people.
The results are non-binding, but they again throw the race into a tizzy as some are questioning whether Mitt Romney is still the clear front-runner. Tracy Davis is a GOP political strategist and former speechwriter for President George H.W. Bush. She joins us now live this morning. Hey, Tracy, good morning. So in your perception, what happened yesterday?
I think it's more of a question of the mistakes that Romney and Gingrich were making that led for the perfect opportunity for Santorum to move in. And also, just to tone it down one little bit, is the fact that we, as you know, they were caucuses, and they do count a great deal because they count. Colorado is 36 delegates and Minnesota's 40, so that's a lot. And for him to win all three is just amazing, and he does now have the momentum. So there are a lot of good parts about it, but I think that when Romney made the mistake, or when Romney said that I'm not concerned about the really poor, that really resonated with the American people, both sides of the conservatives and the left and the right, because the conservatives felt that he really must not understand how the conservatives think, because that's a safety net is the last thing that they think that's good for the poor. They feel that it takes away their human dignity, and that every encouragement should be for them to be able to work and find a job and move up and have the American dream. And that's what's so frustrating to them, that it seems like it's the party just for the rich. And so that really struck a chord for, and Gingrich's reaction and press conference was very eerie, and it was incredibly negative, and just to have no people there, it just seemed like almost something that somebody with a very big ego would just kind of went over the edge, because he's been complaining about how he needs people in debates, or even if they're there, that he wants their reaction, and he's been complaining about the mainstream media, and then to hold sort of this strange press conference and then just say, the Romney campaign has been leaking that I'm getting out of the race.
We're speaking live with Tracy Davis, a GOP political strategist. Tracy, are you on, for lack of a better phrase, anybody's payroll right now, or are you really looking at this objectively?
No, I really, really am. I'm on no one's payroll, and I am looking at it. Obviously, it doesn't sound it, but I think that they were the ones. I think they did too good of a job in what they were supposed to do, which was to sort of not destroy the other person, but squash down the other person, and they did to the point where people really were looking around for somebody else. They put enough doubt in people's minds, and Santorum, who hasn't been attacked yet, and also he's very clear on his message. He talks about the issues. He's kind of, when you think about the Midwest, it's the perfect place, the heartland of America, for them to want the person who's doing this the old-fashioned way. It doesn't need $1 billion or whatever, and you don't need a famous name. I mean, he really has come up the hard way, I think.
Tracy, let me play MSNBC to your Fox for a minute here.
Okay.
And if we play that game, wouldn't it be easy for somebody on the Democratic side to kind of look at this and say the Republicans can't get it together, that they're so out of touch with just finding a happy middle point, that there's very conservative or there's not conservative enough, that just when you think somebody like Romney is clearly the winner months out of the primary or of the nominating convention, that it turns out that's not really the case, and that this is an indication of the party having a problem as opposed to the party going through a process.
Oh, that's interesting. So theirs was so long and drawn out to the very bitter end with Obama and Clinton, and this is just the way they go. And I think it's great that we're examining all the. It's a wild race, and it's good news. But I mean, as far as for the American people, I thought it was worse when it was just the two of them. I think it's very hard not to think of Romney when you automatically think, just because you've heard it so many times, like Massachusetts moderate, pro-gun control, pro-abortion, even though it's all exaggerated and it's not true. And so I think it's great that this mixes things up a little bit.
All right, Tracy, great stuff, great insight. I appreciate you joining us live this morning. That is Tracy Davis. She's a GOP political strategist and a former speechwriter for President George H.W. Bush, joining us live this morning.